dirty, dirty boy. Hey Epic Cars, I'm having to reshoot this kind of intro and kind of explanation of the video because my GoPro just kind of crapped out on me evidently and lost a bunch of footage. So why am I standing in front of the wrecker, the tow truck? Well, this video is going to be a little different in the fact that I'm just kind of going to go through like my daily life. This is kind of a normal day for me. It's kind of a different video. It's not necessarily car related. There is some car stuff in it, but mostly it's kind of what I do outside of cars in order to make a living and kind of how busy things are right now. So hope you enjoy this. It's kind of a different look into kind of what goes on daily around here, and kind of gives an explanation of kind of why I do the things I do. So plus there, like I said, there are some cars in it, so stay tuned. All right, so here's the townhome project I'm working on. There's 6 townhomes in each one of these banks, and we're going to be doing a full interior and exterior remodel on this deal. So pretty big job. We're starting with this unit first. We're just handling the inside, getting it up and running, and then we're going to be doing some exterior work, moving the dumpster. But great location and pretty cool project. All right, so I got the load picked up. It's a little Honda Accord, full of stuff, man, and they've been using it like as a storage locker, I guess. I don't know, it's crazy. So I got paid to pick it up, and now I'll get paid to scrap it out, and I guess get to keep whatever's inside it. There's a ton of stuff in there, construction materials and pipes and all kinds of stuff. So we'll dig into it. But now I'm gonna head over to the flip house because the concrete guys should be starting pretty soon, and go see how that process is going. Well, there's a look at the car I picked up, and we arrived right on time because concrete truck just got here. So pump trailers here, concrete trucks here. The green truck I'm selling to that concrete guy. So he's driving it for a couple of days, and we just sold that truck to him. The only access to the house was right on this side, and it was tough access. I had to get my tractor in here, and then we had to rent a little mini skid steer to get it down there to the pool. And I'll try to get some, I think somebody got some video of that, but that's 162 tons of dirt I had to fill in that pool that sits right over the Deep Fork River. And so we drove the little mini skid steer down here, and it doesn't look that tough from this angle, but man, it was. So we're putting in a little retaining wall right here. I mean, you can see the house is still got a ways to go. And then I'm extending the patio out from there, from the bottom of these steps, and it goes that way. I believe it's like a 25 by 50, maybe even bigger than that now that I added that part. Actually, I think it is bigger. That extends out over the water, but it should be really cool when it's done. So that's the hill that we drove. Actually, he drove a little mini skid steer down it, and we drove down this ramp to get down to this lower level. Then we built another ramp to pull it back up. So I had the skid steer, my tractor, and a truck pulling that up. So that was the scariest part, trying to get this out of here. I was thinking, man, we're gonna have a $30,000 machine stuck down here. But we got it out, so it was just a ton of work. But you can see how cool this is. It cantilevers out over the water, and you got Deep Fork River right back here. So this will be this really nice patio down here for entertaining and things like that. And then you go up there to the house. All right, we're starting to pump. Inside of the house, haven't really done much since probably my last update video. I've done some trim work, some casing, that kind of stuff, but I've been really concentrating on the outside of the house. So we're ready for a little bit more trim work. Then we'll start paint and get that done. Oh, I gotta build in the shelving unit for this. I've got to finish that up there. I'm putting some shiplap and stuff up there, but we're getting real close to paint and finishing the trim. I did some shiplap on this bathroom wall here, so that's pretty much done. A little bit more trim work in here, and then we're gonna be ready to paint and get on down the road. So it's been a long process to do all this, but with my dad's health and then him ultimately passing away, it just took a lot of time, and good time. I mean, I'm thankful to God that I had that time with him to spend, but it obviously put this project on hold a little bit. So, but he'd want me to finish it right and do it up quality, so that's what I'm gonna do. That's the way Dad did it. Dad was a little bit more detail oriented than I am. I'm a little bit more seat of the pants kind of guy. Dad was an engineer, and so he was very, you know, he didn't do anything without thinking about it and then thinking about it, then sketching it out and then drawing it out. I mean, but I love that about Dad. He was so detail oriented, and I am not that kind of guy. I just kind of jump in, and you know, whatever happens, happens. So both ways, get it done. His way is probably the better way, you know, I'll admit. But I sure miss you, Dad, and you know, it's just it's hard without you. All right, back at the house. Now jump in Earl, go back out. All right, we're in Earl, and he is a dirty boy. He is filthy. This is literally the first time I've driven the truck. It's got AC, that's what's awesome. It works really nice. And, you know, she rides like an F350, like an OBS 350. But so far, so good. No major issues. I'm almost out of gas, so I'm going to stop and get gas here in a second. But we're going to give Earl its kind of shakedown run today, see how good it is. And I've got holes in the floorboards so I can see concrete below me. Oh, that bump was pretty heavy. Looks like all the gauges work, or at least I hope they work. I don't know about the lights and turn signals and stuff like that yet. Definitely got to replace the floor pans because they are a little rusted out, but no big deal. 30 bucks for 6.26 gallons. That's so nuts. Well, I did get the gas gauge to come up a little bit, so I put, what, 6.2 gallons in, and it came up to almost half a tank, so that's, I don't know if the tank is that small, but that would make that, what, 12, it's probably a 16-gallon tank, I would imagine. So at least it works. All right, so let's walk back through kind of why I got Earl. I had record number 1, which was a 3/4 ton flatbed 4-wheel drive Chevy that I was going to turn into my off-road recovery vehicle. So we don't have mountains and rocks and things like that around here, but we do have a lot of mud, and we've got a lot of red clay. And when that gets wet, it is brutal. So even if you're just, you know, not necessarily out off-roading, you just go anywhere off the road, and the likelihood of you getting stuck is pretty high unless you have a fairly capable 4-wheel drive car or truck. I've gotten a few calls about off-road recoveries, and it's not necessarily like they're in the backwoods and they drove into a swamp or something. It's just, you know, they got down a country road, it rained, they spun out a little bit, or they got stuck, and they can't get a buddy to come, you know, get them out, that kind of deal. And so I wanted to have a 4-wheel drive vehicle that was capable of doing some towing and some recovery work. Well, that square body Chevy, I think, would have definitely fit the bill, don't get me wrong. But then I came across this truck, and having a 97 crew cab, 1-ton, 7.3 diesel with a flatbed on it was something that I think would be a little bit better suited for the jobs that I go out. That single cab square body was again a good truck, but this will be able to carry a lot more gear, especially if I'm going out and getting somebody and I'm having to pull them all the way out to pavement. You know, being able to have people ride in the back here comfortably and be safe while I'm doing it is something I think is important. In that single cab Chevy, could I do it? Of course, but this will allow me to carry more gear and more people if I have to. Secondly, having a diesel I think is an advantage, and I definitely wanted to have a diesel. I don't know, for whatever reason I'm a diesel guy, so I'd rather have a diesel. And then having a 1-ton truck obviously speaks for itself. Being able to carry a little bit more weight, having a flatbed, and then having the extended wheelbase of a crew cab long bed truck, I really like too. Doesn't really help when you're doing kind of off-road like rock climbing and things like that, but in the mud it definitely can have its advantages. So Earl so far is passing the test, and the most important thing is it's got air conditioning and it blows very cold. This could be a daily driver as well as a rescue vehicle, and that's kind of where I was a little concerned with the square body, was it's not really going to be a daily driver. I mean, could you drive it every day? Absolutely, but it doesn't have AC and it's just not comfortable, and having power windows and things like that to be able to drive around town and run errands in it at the same time, having the capability to get out there and get muddy. And it's kind of beat up, and I don't care really what happens to it. I'm not going to make it pretty. So if it gets dented and things like that, I don't really care. But it's a good enough truck to get me around and keep me somewhat comfortable, as well as be capable. So that's the kind of the whole story behind Earl. It's about 4:15 or so, so I'm making my way back down to the flip house. See what the progress of the concrete pump truck's gone, concrete truck's gone. So it looks like they're probably just finishing up right now, but I'll give you a sneak peek. Finished product, hopefully pretty quick. Yeah, that's cool. Be nice to have that done. All right. Well, you saw the kind of results of the concrete. Turned out really well. They're going to come back and finish it, obviously, but worked out okay. Now it's time to go home, and it's been one of those days. It's been a long day. A lot going on today. Pour went well today. They're going to come back tomorrow and finish everything. You know, they got a little bit of cleanup to do, but that's kind of a day in the life of my life. It's crazy, but it works. So right now it's home, dinner, shower, and probably pass out on the couch watching some TV. Well, this is a couple days later, and I just finished another tow, but I came back to the house to take a look. There's the retaining wall. Got that poured. Much better than the old railroad ties that used to be there. And here is, he already came and removed the forms and saw cut everything. Look how nice that turned out. This is awesome. All right, here's a look from down here. Man, look how nice this is. Perfect day to be down here too. Nice finish, it's not too smooth. That was one thing I wanted him to make sure that it wasn't, you know, brushed to a smooth finish, because of water and making it's too slippery when people come down here, but it's perfect. Wow, look at that. So if you can imagine some chairs and stuff and umbrellas and all kinds of stuff, I mean, you could have a nice little party down here. So pretty cool. All right, so that's kind of my day in a nutshell. This is kind of the stuff I do, and this is how my wife and I make a living. She's a realtor and I do this kind of stuff. We flip houses, we flip cars, handyman work, restorations, remodels. I retired a couple of years ago and kind of got into this business, and so this is what I'm doing now. So I appreciate it, and God allows me to do it every day. So until next time, epic cars, baby, or in this case, epic houses. It's not quite an epic house yet, but at least it's an epic patio. So let's call this the epic patio version.